Stuart, welcome to the Big Kickoff League of Ireland show. Delighted to have you on. Probably under better circumstances with the defeat at the weekend in the Cork local derby, 2-1 beaten. When you probably had a couple of days now to digest it, how do you look back at it?
Yeah, first, hi Roy, how's things? Delighted to be on the show. Thanks for having us on. Obviously, as you're saying, the start of the season, local derby. As you say, in the aftermath of it, so to speak, a few days to ponder it over. And if being honest, views haven't changed from the straight after the game. I thought for majority of the game we were the better side. We played good football. We were organised. We were competitive when we had to be. And unfortunately, the result went against us, and that doesn't make it easier. That we played well at the end of the day. We all know it's about the 3 points. So from that point of view, we're disappointed, and we have to learn from that.
Yeah. When you look at the 2 goals that you conceded, you must be disappointed with how you conceded. First one's a set piece, a corner kick, good corner kick routine in all fairness, but the second one was very lackadaisy along the back line. I think John Kavanagh, I might be right in saying that he got intercepted, but the ball across from him was very lackadaisy as well, put him in all sorts of trouble. So you'll always look for things. You can always find something in a goal, but I suppose you're going to look at them things and be disappointed probably in them.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we've got to look at. We've had a session since then, and we've sat down and we've talked about that. And you know, for all the good things we did, we've got to be honest with one another, and we've got to look at what went wrong. And as you say, a set piece, a routine for them, that was fine. If the first part of the routine had gone into the top corner, you'd say, oh, well and good. But to me, he scuffed that, and there's a second phase of play there which we didn't react to. And they were first to the ball 6-7 yards in our box, and that has cost us there. And as you say as well, the second one, we're playing out to what we tried to do, and again we've been caught. What was it, a bad ball to him? Yes, no. Could he have done better? Yes, no. How did we respond? We didn't respond, full stop. And those are the learning ones we've had the discussions about, and those are the ones from the game we've got to learn from those and take the disappointment, and we've got to take the positives then of the way we played, the chances we created, and our performance as a whole.
Okay, so what did you learn about yourselves then? Because it's the first competitive game. You can only compare yourself really in competitive games. Pre-season, I suppose, it tells you a bit, but it doesn't tell you everything. The first competitive game tells you a lot. What did you learn? And even what did you learn about Cork City and what they might do this year?
Yeah, obviously, as you said, the pre-season games are about the guys getting fit and ready for the start of the league. And we had mixed results in that. You know, we had a good win, and then we came up against the Rovers, the Pats, the Boars, who probably, if we're looking at it, gave us a lesson or two there. And I like to think that we learnt from those games. Obviously, then it's a different scenario when we start the league. And obviously, Cork City are one of the favourites to go straight back up because of who they are. And you know, we respect that. And from our point of view, if they are the standards that are going to go back up, you know, we're saying to ourselves, well, we've given them a good game there, and if we learn from our mistakes on the night, then it gives us a great chance of being where we want to be at the end of the season, at the top end.
Yeah. Do you feel that you can push on, because you were only narrowly out of the playoffs this year? You know yourself, you get yourself in a playoff position, it's, you know, it's knockout. Anything can happen in those sort of situations. So is there a firm belief that you can do something this year?
Yeah, definitely so. We kept the majority of the group together. a lot of them were disappointed in what happened and were wanting to stay, which was a good thing. There wasn't much persuasion. They wanted to be part of it because they felt they've missed out, and they felt as a team and a club as a whole that we're going in the right direction. And that's great for us. Obviously, we're promoting it and doing our best to get players in. But again, when players want to be here and they're coming onto staff, can I come in and see where I'm at with the club, etc., then we feel we're going in the right direction. And from that point of view, as I said already, the lads are disappointed and felt they missed out from last season, and they think they've got a point to prove. Having said that, everyone's in the same boat at the start of the season, all fresh faces in different squads, all different plans, etc. And we're no different from them. So again, when you look at those clubs in there and you look at some of the players that have been added, it's the First Division's a great league to be in from that sense, but a hard one to get out of, as we know.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at it last year. It was very competitive last year. Anyone could have got into those playoff spots. This year is no different, I suppose, with Shelbourne and Cork coming down now. It's even more difficult. Nathan Doyle, who writes in the bigkickoff.com, wanted me to ask you this question. He asked about Charlie Lyons. He was impressed with him last year, and he was wondering, as you said, a lot of players wanted to stay. He was wondering, was there interest for him in the off season?
Yeah, we I wouldn't say had a battle, but we had a conversation halfway through the season. Clubs came in for him in the window last year, and so obviously I had to have my thinking cap on when we were chatting, so to speak. So it was, yes, we had to persuade him to an extent that we were the right club for him going forward. But again, yes, he had offers to go elsewhere, and he was thinking of the wider picture of going playing professional in America and places. So from that point of view, we're delighted, obviously, to have him, and as well that he wanted to stay. It was never a persuasion one. It was, you know, these are our options, and see. Obviously, the one Dave Hurley we lost through to go into full-time football, and unfortunately, at the minute, we're not at that stage. That's where the club hopes to go in the future along the road. But at this stage, the Dave Hurley, we can't compete with that. You know, young kids wanting to be professional footballers, they get the offer of it. Then, from our point of view, you know, we can't stop them doing that, and we won't do. You know, again, if it's the right club and they're going to play there and progress their careers, we're not going to stop guys doing that. So from that point of view, as I said, with Charlie, he was delighted. He thinks his future's here where he can progress from us, which is, from our point of view, brilliant that they feel that way.
Yeah, that's a positive. That's a huge positive that thought process is there. I was doing a little bit of research about you. On one side, I looked up your age. It said unknown, so I said this fella must be ancient. All right. Then I look back and I seen that you played in the first ever competitive game for Cork City, so that confirmed all my beliefs.
That's right, yeah. That I mentioned,
you've been around Cork City. You've been around with Cobh Ramblers, so you know the area. You know the football down there. Why haven't Cobh fixed themselves? And it's a big enough city and a big enough area. Why haven't they sort of fixed themselves in a Premier League, division position?
The problem for me there, Roy, is that obviously you've got and as they say over in England, the noisy neighbours. You know, it's one of those that Cork City have the history there of being the Premier League club, and unfortunately, that's whether we like it or not at the minute, and we're hopefully changing that, as I've said already in what we said about the Charlie Lyons staying and the lads staying from last season, that, you know, we're changing that, where now there's a belief that the club is going places on and off the pitch, and for the youngsters, to see that, and hopefully with myself in charge at the minute and the staff we have, that we've got youngsters coming in and getting opportunities in the first team, you know, and hopefully it's a pathway. We're creating a pathway there in the club for these youngsters, not only to play for us, League of Ireland, but as I said already, if the progression for them is to somewhere else and it's the right one, that's the progression, and we're delighted for that as well, as long as everything's put in place and done right for those kids. We're happy to be part of that, so to speak. But again, the long term is for us to keep those lads at the club and be fighting, as we say already this season, for a place in the Premier, and then to establish yourself in the Premier. As I said, like any other club. But I think, you know, we've got foundations going in the right direction at the minute, and hopefully down the road, that's where we'll see the club.
Yeah, you talk about progression. The Munster Senior League down there, a lot of clubs, well, in the Munster area have used those players. How important is that league to the area?
Yeah, definitely so. You know, it's a great league there. The main one in the area, obviously, and it's what the kids are brought up on. You know, obviously the League of Ireland clubs are going, the underages are going lower and lower, so that you're getting the teams in at, you know, 13s, 14s, 15s, 17s, and, you know, they're getting the coaching there. But without the local clubs, you know, the League of Ireland clubs won't survive. That's the starting base for most players. You know, they go around the corner to the local club with their mates, and they enjoy the football, and it sees where they take them. There's always the rising stars at those levels, and, you know, especially for us at the minute, as I said, we're grateful for those clubs and delighted to help the guys on the way and help those clubs as much as we can with tie-ins to them.